Welcome back to the another video. So in this video we will discuss about the network profile. So network profiles basically it will just refer to the interface profiles because interface will be assigned to the zones and interface will have the IP address, interface will have the management profile like ping, HTTPS allowed. So mostly it will be related to the interfaces, so networking profile. So IPsec profile, IKE version 2, IKE version IKE crypto profile, these both are related to the VPNs. So IPsec profile, so let's discuss about the first one, IKE one. So IKE one is the phase one of the VPN. So, for example, site-to-site VPN, whenever these both are trying to authenticate IKE, this is the Internet Key Exchange, which will be taking place in the phase number one. So you will be defining some attributes like what will be the Defleham group, what will be the encryption, what will be uh, with a hash. So these are the attributes you will define, and after that you will define what will be the password in order to authenticate each other. So those are the attributes you will be using. Then once the phase one is completed in the VPN, the phase two will be to encrypt the. So the phase one is to authenticate the user. Phase two is to encrypt the traffic. So again, in the phase two also we are doing the same thing. You will be saying that, okay, you use the encryption as this one and you use the hash as a SHA-1 and so attributes. So these two are related to the VPN. Now interface management, this is where you will define your different things like ping and HTTP traffic, HTTPS. So for example, I do have interface 1/1 which is facing towards the outside. So I only want that interface to reply to the ping. But when we apply to the ping, what happens if someone is attacking to us and sending us the sync packets, partial sync packets, incomplete? So the ping is allowed, so it is Palo Alto is responding to that one, but we want to block that type of attacks. Then we will create a zone protection policy. In that one, we define that okay, ping should be accepted, but if it is like a sync attack, then you detect that one and block the traffic. But the interface management profile mostly deals with what type of access you want to give to your interface. So now we take as a management interface. For management interface, we will enable the ping, we will enable the HTTPS, and we will also enable the HSS because that is on the management. So we allow this kind of all these protocols to be enabled on that one so that we can have access. But ping is like to do for the testing, so we will enable on the remaining internal networks in zones and the outside zone so that we know that it's responding to the ping or not. Again, quality of service. Quality of service basically is the what it's to do with the bandwidth. So the inside to outside, the PC is going from inside to outside. The Palo Alto is checking the traffic and it is allowing it, but the PC is utilizing more bandwidth. So this is the inside network. And for example, the people are checking their Facebook, people are checking the YouTube. So you want to detect those application, and after detecting those application, you want to set a bandwidth. So bandwidth will be like 512 kbps so that it will be slow and not many people should be accessing the Facebook. So it's just basically like indirectly you're stopping people to access the Facebook and the YouTube. But again, nowadays, Facebook might be blocking, but YouTube, many people do not block because if people learn from YouTube, so YouTube, they will not set any bandwidth on that one. Now, LLDP profile, that's basically just like a Palo Alto is been connected to any of the switch or any of the router, then we can check for the LLDP neighbors. So it's just to check whether the link is properly working or not, and it is detecting the Palo Alto or the device which is capable of running the LLDP, that is link level discovery protocol. So it will discover the host on the using the link. BFD profile, again, this is also the same thing. This also works based on the link one. If something goes down, you want to get notification of that one. So for example, we will use the OSPF protocol. So in the OSPF protocol, when both of them are having a neighborship, when the neighborship goes down, it will take 40 seconds to notify. So we don't want that one. In that case, we can create a BFD profile which will look for this protocol, and we say that after 300 milliseconds, I want to get notification. That means not even 1 second before the 1 second completes, we are getting a notification that the neighborship is down using the BFD. All right, so let's go to the management PC and we will see one by one. So go to the network, and inside the network you should have network profiles. So you see that IKE gateways. Click on add, and it should ask you for the details like which interface you are trying to configure your VPN, what is the peer IP address. So it's asking for the other router or the device which you are going to configure your VPN with. So those are the details it is asking you. Next, if you go to the IPsec one, which is configuring the data, encrypting the data. So by default, you do already have these three. So if you want to use any of those, then you can use, because you see that on the default one, it is doing the authentication by the suite B and suite B's GCM 256 and 128. It is not doing any authentication. So if you click on add, if you want to add your custom thing, custom attributes like add your own attributes, you can add it over here. And if you want to add your own authentication, you can add it over here. Alright, so just give a name, this one, and define group, select which group you want to configure it. The higher the group is much better. Lifetime, how much should be the lifetime? If you want to go with the hours, second, minutes, or days. But usually it is by default, it's always 1 hour. So that should be all good. Uh, so that's how you see that if you want to select the protocol, AH protocol or ESP protocol, it's up to you. Again, mostly we use the ESP protocol, which is much more efficient. Now again, so first thing is that it asks for the IKE gateway. So in the phase one, it is asking you for the other device details, where is the peer and all those things. But in order to authenticate that user, this is the crypto IKE, Internet Key Exchange crypto. So these are the attributes it will be checking. By default, you already have here. You can use any of one of them. So default should be the most of the time. That should be all good. And you can see that the key lifetime is over here is the 8 hours. And again, if you have a good idea about how VPN works, this makes sense. Now coming to the interface management, you see that I have created one ping one. So if I open that one, you see that only ping is allowed on the network service. There is no HTTPS, OCSP, SNMP response page. There is no user ID detected on that particular. So it is just a profile with all these attributes in here. So if I select these attributes, if I apply to any of those zones, okay, any of those zones or any of those interfaces of the Palo Alto, it will allow those many access. So if I say that interface on the outside interface, if I say that I want to allow HTTPS, that is all good. So by default, I have created one with only ping, but now I am selecting HTTPS. If I select OK, now if I go to the interfaces, if I go to the Ethernet 1/1, which is facing outside, if I go to the advanced, you see that there is a management profile, which is ping. So before it was ping, now I have changed it to ping as well as HTTPS. So it will allow two services, ping and HTTPS. Similar with the 1/2 now. So currently, if I see that in the advanced, that profile is being attached. So if from the management, if I try to ping 172.168.1.1, I am able to ping because ping is allowed. But I have selected HTTPS also for now. I did not commit yet. So if I say that HTTP 172.168.1.1, I am not able to access. But once I do a commit and commit, so once I do the commit, I should also get the HTTPS access on the inside interface of the Palo Alto. Again, that same profile is been applied onto 1, 2, and 3 of the interface. That means all of them will have the access. So if I go from my physical PC to try to access the Palo Alto outside public interface on the HTTPS, I should be able to access the HTTPS because that's what we said in the profile. Okay, let the commit completes. Right, so currently it is showing problem loading. All right, commit configuration successful. Let me go ahead and refresh now. Now you see that it is now giving me a Palo Alto login page. And similarly, if I go back to my physical PC now, in here, if I say that HTTPS public IP address of my Palo Alto, I should also get the HTTPS access because that on the outside interface also it has been enabled so that again I will get that access over here. And again, you see that there is a natting going on, so that's why it is not allowing. So if I remove the NAT policy, destination NAT policy, I can access the HTTP access of the Palo Alto. So what I will do is that I will go back to the management profile and I will go back to the ping. I will remove the HTTPS because I just want the ping for the testing purpose. Next is the zone protection. We already seen about the zone protection. We use it mostly for the sync packets resonance where we actually check for any scanning. So if someone is doing scanning over our public IP, we want to stop that one. So these are the different categories over here and you will select according to those categories what you want to block. But again, it's a good idea to apply the zone protection on the outside interface. Quality of service, as I said that you want, there is a by default some policies have been created, but I will go ahead and click on add. And here you see that I can give a profile name, how much should be the egress bandwidth and the egress guaranteed bandwidth. So egress and ingress, so you should be very much a little bit, not little bit, sometimes it is confusing for the people. Now egress is going into the device which is called egress and sorry, ingress, my bad. Ingress is going into the device, egress is leaving the device or leaving the interface. So we are talking about the interface, so whenever we say that the ingress interface, that means the one which is taking the traffic. So the traffic is being received by this interface, that is called ingress, and the traffic which leaves the interface, that is called the egress. So it is asking for the egress, the one which is leaving the traffic on that interface. So it's asking for your egress maximum and the guarantee. So the maximum is like whatever bandwidth you want to set, you can set, and the guaranteed, like if you are setting over here 100 and you want to guarantee it like 40 Mbps of speed, maximum is 100 Mbps, but you want to guarantee every time like 40 Mbps of speed, then you can set it over here. Class bandwidth type Mbps or percentage, so it again depends upon how you measure it. So it depends because if you're, for example, if it's a voice service, so definitely you want to reserve a 10% of bandwidth, whatever the bandwidth it is, or you can reserve at least 20 to 30 Mbps of speed for it. So for percentage, I can select that one and I will click on add class 1, medium, real time, high, and the egress maximum, egress guarantee, I can define it over here. Percentages. You see that it is now asking for the percentages. If I select the Mbps, it will ask you for the Mbps. But anyhow, by default, you can see that there are some policies defined for you, which is 0000. That means all of the all of the bandwidth is available for that particular classification. Now LLDP profile. So in the LLDP profile, I will click on add. I will give a name. I want to transmit and receive the data, and I want to transmit like only port description, maybe system name, system capabilities. If you want to advertise those things, then you can go ahead and do that one, but mostly we will just send a port description only. But now coming to the LLDP one, it's if once you create the profile doesn't mean that it will enable it. So you have to go to the LLDP and you have to enable it. So globally you have to enable the LLDP. And once you create the LLDP profile, you go to the interface, and in the interface you go to the advanced, and this is where you will find the LLDP and you will apply your LLDP policy over here, profile. Now again with the BFD is the same thing. By default it is there is a policy profile created for you, so you can use that one because these are minimum interval 1 second. So they have created for the 1 second, and detection time multiplier 3 seconds. After 3 seconds it should be think that the link is down or dead. Now if we enable multi-hop, that if the service is for the multi-hop one, then you can select that one, but mostly it will be link to link only. Cancel. So once that has been done, we will go back to the interfaces again. We will go back to the interface 1/1, go back to the advanced, and somewhere you should have the link speed, links duplex, BFD profiles also. So other information, so do have the MTU over here. So if I go to config IPv4 triple PoE DHCP, nope, SD-WAN, yeah, there should be somewhere where we can apply the BFD. I go to the profile, go to the add, because it is not asking for the interface. So where it can be applied, I think in the policy. Network, I will go to the virtual routers default and EIGRP OSPF static. Yep, you see that BFD profile here. This is where you will apply for the route. Okay, so you can apply for the particular route, the BFD profile in here. All right, so that was your network profiles. Those are the different kinds of profiles which you can create and apply accordingly. And I hope this was informative for you, and thank you.